Also sanded through the second coat of clear, so I'm back down into the red from the original. Alright, welcome to a new video this week, guys. As you can see, this looks just like we left it off from the last episode, so let's get started and get this get the Solstice backed out and get the floor covered, and we're going to start getting ready for some paint. So first thing is to get some priming done. I remembered that I still had to do the front bumper cover, so I'm going to go ahead and scuff that up with, you guys remember when we did the last car, I don't even remember which one it was now, we used this key scuff and prep agent, and it's like a kind of like a Comet type consistency, soft scrub type stuff. You put it on a gray scuff pad and you just scuff it all up, and it cleans it and gets it ready for paint. So we're also going to use adhesive promoter on there too. So let's get that all scuffed up, and then we'll be ready to let it dry and get it back inside. Alright, so we've got everything back inside. So now we just need to get everything taped up and protect everything that we don't want primer on. So if you'll remember on these fenders, we want, I think I decided to just go ahead and spray red on this entire hood. We've just got so many rock chips and stuff that I think it's just going to be better to spray it all red. And the only places it really connects to something that we're not painting is, this is all windshield here. And the fender is right here. So if this is all, if red is off a little bit, really the only place we have to blend is this area right here that goes to the door. So we could just kind of angle this like this, get all this the new color, and then fade out into the door this way. This all has to be painted, of course. So maybe we do a diagonal like this and fade it this way. And up here, we'll just kind of fade it more. And then on the other panel, it's the same way. We have the damage is right here, and it's just very light. Our primer will fill those in, I think. And then we'll diagonally angle that blend on it too, going this way. So let's get it all taped up and get plastic over most of that hood. We're going to protect everything over there and just, work on getting our primer on the stuff right now, and then we'll worry about we'll have to seal before we prime, and then we'll worry about color.
Alright guys, it's time to pick another winner for our t-shirt giveaway, just like we do every other week. All you have to do to be entered in to win was comment SLOW down in the comment section. We had 6 people that commented SLOW, so let's go over to our random number generator and hit generate. Number 5, so starting from the oldest comment first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Raz Fellow, congratulations, you won a free Rebuild a t-shirt. Just send us an email and give us your address, and we'll get a t-shirt sent out to you. Thanks so much, congratulations.
Alright, the stuff is all covered up and taped and wax and grease removed and ready for some primer. And I just did a hard line there next to them because I'm going to sand it back down to the metal anyway. So I'm going to spray it with primer, and I'll check and see. I think it's 2 coats, and then we will wait for it to dry and then sand it down to, I believe, 400. So I'll check all those numbers. So I've got one coat, and this stuff goes on super thick. Remember, it's going to be sanded back down to 400, so it doesn't look too smooth, but it doesn't really matter as long as it coats it. So got that and these. That's the first coat, and then I'll come back out and I'll let it flash for 15 minutes. Then I'll do another coat and see how it looks, and then maybe another coat after that. I've given this stuff all the coats it's going to get, and I'm going to let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow night hopefully we will get this stuff sanded down. I went in and pulled that tape off there, and remember, there won't be any tape line when we're done. We're going to sand this, so just let it sit and not do anything else tonight. All right, it's the next day here, and all the stuff is dry, obviously. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get us some 320 paper and block sand this, knock all this high stuff down. I don't know if you can tell, but this is some real high build primer. See all the texture on it? So we're gonna get some 320 and block that down smooth, and then we'll get some 400 and wet sand it. Totally get rid of this line right here. And I'll probably just move this tape over a little bit to make sure that I don't get into this. We don't want too many 400 grit scratches in here since we did this to 600. So we'll just kind of go over a little bit and make sure this line's gone. Same way over here. And then we'll see how good a job we did on our body work. So that's really all it takes to block it down to 320 dry. I mean, it's already like really smooth. That took probably 3 or 4 minutes. It just knocks all that texture off really fast. So now I'll go ahead and do those fenders same way, and then we'll start with 400 wet. All right, I've got all this sanded down to 400, and man, it is smooth. And what I was really trying to do, other than getting the whole thing sanded to 400 smoothness, is make sure that I didn't have a straight line anywhere where I stopped with the primer. Sometimes that, you don't want any kind of a ridge there or anything that shows through. So I've got all that off. You cannot feel anything where the primer stops. Same way on all this, you just don't want a tape line at all. You want it to always be cloud forms. So totally smooth, so that's good. So the next step is to put sealer on that, and we'll wash it down again, get all the sanding stuff off of it, and then seal it. And then actually the sealing process can be done, just seal it and then go ahead and put color right over it without doing any sanding. So hopefully that works. All right, so the next step, you can see the bumper cover hanging up there, so I'm going to use this adhesive promoter called Key Grip on there. So I'll spray it 2 or 3 coats on that, let it dry, and while it's drying, then I'll get back over there and start cleaning the hood and the fenders, wiping them down and make sure they're tack cloth and ready to start spraying sealer on those spots that we primed. So I've got the bumper cover adhesive promoted. So everything is taped and ready. And remember, on the sealer, our goal is just to cover everything that's got the primer on it. So we're going to try to spray this direction and not get a tape line right here. Just kind of feather it out. I've had a hard time doing that in the past, so we'll see if it works or not. But I don't want a tape line because I don't want to sand it. We're supposed to be able to just put the sealer on there and then go ahead with our color. So this one we're going to shoot this direction. And then we got to cover the whole bumper with sealer. So I've got the fans going, and let's get started. All Alright, so I've got the sealer on. Bumper's all done. And I knew I was going to get a stinking tape line on here, and I did. It's got it too heavy right here, so you can see I've tried to feather it in here, but I still ended up getting a light tape line right here. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to let this dry about 30 minutes, the sealer, and then I'll get some 600 grit paper and then just hit this tape line to make sure there's no ridge here. Right there and there. And I don't have to do anything to the bumper. And then this little area right here, it shouldn't just take us a minute. You just have to let it dry 30 minutes so it doesn't gum up while you're trying to sand it. Alright, so all those tape lines are gone. Everything's just kind of a blended area now. Alright, time for color. So remember, I'm going to be trying to stay away from this edge where the door goes to. Both of these edges here and here. And get this nice and thick red and then feather it out that way. And then we're just going to do the whole hood solid red. So I don't have to worry about that one. We'll go ahead and use color on the top of these fenders too and do our blend just in the door. That way the only place that we have to worry about is this corner right here. Alright, so all coats of color are on and it's dry enough where I can tack cloth it and start spraying clear. So that's the easy part's done, now the hard part. And clear is going on everything. So all the parts I blended, like this area right here is the old paint. And this area right here is the new. You can kind of see how it gets less shiny as it goes forward, but the clear will make everything shiny, and so hopefully that blend works good and you won't be able to see how it goes into the door. So. Oh, there it is, guys. The clear coat is on. It went on the best on the fenders. I mean, that is like super slick there. I was having problems with bugs. I don't know if you saw me stopping and get an X-Acto knife and digging bugs out of the clear coat. But I have no runs on these, but I do have to sand it and buff it just to get the bug trails out. And then over here, I had a really big bug that I finally had to dig out, and then I had to go back and re-clear that spot. And when I did, I got so much on there that I got to run. So I've got that run right there. I've got to sand out, and then I got those right there because there was a bug right here. So if it wouldn't have been for the bugs, I would have had really good luck because I don't have any issues over here. So pretty successful. So we'll give it a day or so to dry, and then we'll start sanding. Alright, it's the next day, guys, and things nice and dry, so we're going to start in on the sanding, and we're going to pray for no sand throughs, get rid of all these. There's like 3 runs, I think, out of everything, so we'll try to do that first, get rid of those, and go from there. So let's start with this hood. If you guys remember, back when we were doing the red Mustang. Talked about how to use a razor blade to get the worst part of the run out. So what we're going to do is just super carefully make sure we don't get into the rest of the paint. We're going to scrape these runs down, just using the edge of the blade. Like I said, we just painted this yesterday, so it's pretty soft. This is very nerve-wracking when you're trying to stick a razor blade on your brand new paint. See how it's starting to wear right here on the edge? Just keep doing that until it starts to wear evenly all the way around, and then you know you're down the right level. Now I'm going to sand a little bit on this run on the side here with some 1000 grit, and see how fast we can work it now. Well, just got a lot more work to do after I got all those runs sanded out. Also sanded through the second coat of clear, so I'm back down into the red from the original. So I got to re-clear it right here too. I'm telling you, those bugs are a major problem. I wouldn't have to do any of this if it wasn't for the bugs getting in the paint. So I might try to shoot this one this next time with the doors shut. And I don't know, it's just a lot of extra work every time I sand through, so let's see what we're going to do here. That was probably a good hour's worth of sanding right there that you saw in that little time lapse. Starting to wonder, like, maybe the purpose of this show should be to teach others that you should not give up, because I mess up like a dozen times on every one of these builds, and so every time I have to redo things, especially paint. I think every time we painted anything, we've redone it 2 or 3 times. So don't give up. If you mess up, it might take more time, but you can do it. So there's half the hood sanded, and we got to do the other side still. And we're probably going to run out of time for this episode before we get to clear again. Well, guys, thanks for watching another episode of Rebuild It. Did get the whole hood sanded back down again, so now it's ready for clear again. So I just sorry ran out of time before I could get it cleared, but we'll start with the next episode, clearing that, and then start putting that thing back together. So it should be a good episode next week. Stay tuned, and we've got a big surprise coming up for you, coming real soon. We did buy a car, another project. You'll have to wait until we reveal it, but it's going to be a fun one. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, share us with your friends, and make sure you subscribe. Bye.
And always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. See you guys next week. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.